Raise your hand if you have a fear of dying alone. See, so many of you have raised your hand, and it doesn't surprise me at all because we've all been indoctrinated with the idea that none of us are good enough. You see, from the moment that you're born, you're taught that you must earn love, you must seek validation, you must wait to be chosen, and you must essentially beg for permission to be yourself. Essentially, I'm here to tell you that we're going to scrap all that, and we're going to really embrace the concept of solitude. We're going to make room for ourselves to be alone, and we're going to learn to spend time with ourselves because time spent with yourself is never time wasted. In a world where society teaches you that you must always have a companion and that romance and marriage is your biggest achievement that you can attain in this life, that's actually a very flawed concept, and you'll find that even if you are in a relationship or even if you are married, you can still feel lonely. The reason why you feel lonely is because you feel misunderstood. It's because you aren't giving yourself enough room to learn who you are. Often we use our relationships with other people as a distraction from ourselves. We use other people as a tool to run away from the responsibility of getting to know who we really are when nobody is looking. And we often, allow social media to become a channel through which we gain validation, but it's all surface level because the question is, do you like yourself when nobody's liking? How do you feel about yourself when nobody is looking? The thing about being alone is that your company is the greatest company that you can have, but you don't know that because you're too busy trying to be the best possible friend you can be, trying to be liked, trying to be successful. But being successful isn't just about having money. It isn't just about being liked. It isn't just about acquisition. Being successful ultimately is about feeling like you're enough, about feeling that you have something valid to contribute to the conversation. In instances where you are amongst groups of people and you want to, say something or add to the conversation, the thing that stops you is that feeling that you're not going to be listened to, or that you're going to be ignored, or that what you have to say isn't important. But each and every person in this room has a story. If you have a name, you have a journey. If you have a journey, you have a perspective, which means that every single person sat here today has something really, really important to contribute to the larger conversation. Your opinion matters. No matter what that opinion is, no matter how you formed that opinion, it's an important opinion and you must share it. It's so exciting to be alive, but it's even more exciting to know that you have been given an opportunity to be here today because somebody didn't wake up this morning and someone might not wake up tonight, but the fact that you're here means that you have a chance, and the fact that you have a chance means that you can always start again. Let's talk about time, because we all have this fear that time is leaving us, time is running away, everything's running out, and we aren't going to accomplish what we want to accomplish before this deadline that we have mentally created. But also the world has given us this timer that's slowly counting down, and we're told that, by this age you must have done this, by this age you must have been married, if not then you're a failure. And we often see how this idea is played out in the media. When we look at women like Oprah, for example, who is ultra successful in what she does, but yet people still ask, why isn't she married? The reason why people do that is because they feel like a woman is never enough until a man decides that she is. And that's not okay. We must make the effort to separate ourselves from who the world wants us to be and who we feel like we deserve to be. Now, I'm not anti-marriage and I'm not anti-companionship, but I'm anti-feeling like you must use someone else to validate your existence, because even if you are married, you can still feel alone. Right, so let's talk about being pretty and being likable. Everyone in this room wants to be liked, including myself. Now, I'm going to tell you a harsh truth that I've had to learn to accept. I love being liked. I like being told that I'm pretty. I like people gathering round to tell me that they like my outfit because I like my outfit. But the thing is, being liked is not the goal here. Because if you wrap your life around trying to be liked, you will find that you like yourself less and less and less. Because instead of trying to meet your own standards, you're meeting everyone else's. The thing about standards is that they're man-made rules and concepts and ideas that people have formed to create a sense of safety amongst each other. Because remember that as human beings, we have a herd mentality. We do want to belong. We do want to feel like we're a part of something. And that's not a bad thing at all. Because feeling like you belong means that you have something to offer and to contribute. But we mustn't make that the priority of our existence, because in the end, all you have is yourself. And so when it comes to beauty and when it comes to being attractive and being liked, that cannot be the main thing that we build ourselves around, because you're not a product. You're not an item. You aren't here to be consumed. Your body isn't here for anybody to essentially mold into their idea. You have a body to be lived in. And it's important to understand that living as an experience should be something that's joyous. But even joy itself doesn't mean a constant state of elation. Joy, I feel, in my opinion, just means a level of acceptance and understanding that each and every single event that has happened in your life has happened for a reason. And that all the bad things and all the mistakes that you look back on when you're sleeping that happened 5 years ago and you're like, oh, I really wish I used a different word. Or when you're like, oh, I really wish that in that argument I said this and I would have totaled them. It doesn't even matter really, because ultimately you're a person and you're constantly shifting and changing and you're developing these new perspectives. And that's so exciting. Like, if you look back at yourself 2 years ago and look at the things that you used to hold as valuable and you compare the person you are to now, I'm sure something has changed. And that change is wonderful, because who knows what else could change in your perspective as you continue to live your life. Now let's talk about rejection, because every single person in this room has felt rejected before. Rejection isn't just, no, you didn't get the job. Rejection isn't just, I'm not following you back. Rejection, you're laughing because you've all been there, haven't you? Rejection also essentially is, you're not good enough, or something about you just doesn't create a spark within me. And when you feel that feeling when you're around someone who you really want to like you, it feels so exaggerated. You feel like you have to earn their approval. You feel like you have to work harder to be yourself so this person can be like, okay, maybe I do like you a little. But what's dangerous about that is that you end up trying to become that person's idea of what they think is beautiful. But then as human beings, our ideas are constantly shifting and changing, and standards are constantly taking new forms. If we look at beauty standards as an example yet again, this time 5 years ago or even 10 years ago, looking like someone who's popular on Instagram was never the standard, because those apps didn't even exist at the time. But now there's a whole new beauty standard that people are chasing. So you find that if you try to wrap yourself around other people's ideas of perfect, you will be trapped in a void, because it's like a game, but the game is rigged. There is no right way to be a human, because even when you do morph into what these people tell you is perfect or is likable, someone will still be like, I mean, she's cute, but. And that but really does sting, because again, nobody wants to be criticized. But the thing is, I'm learning every single day that being wrong and all those really, really irritating mistakes that I can't get out of my mind that I've made, that place, that space is where the best of me has come from. I can't remember a time where I learned anything from being right. I can't remember a time where I learned anything from being told that I was pretty or that I was nice. But I've learned so many things from being rejected by people who I thought I cared about. And why that rejection taught me a lesson is because it taught me that that person hasn't even spent enough time with their self to know how much they care about their self. So why do I want to be loved by someone who barely even loves their self? And that's what brings me back to the point of nothing anybody ever ultimately does is because of you. As human beings, as people, we think what we can do is, if we overthink the situation and try to figure out what we could have done differently, or if we make the unnecessary effort to try to understand how that person's mind works, then we'll be like, aha, I figured out the thing. And if I attack that thing, or if I change myself in order to be better for that thing, then that person will love me, that person will like me. But you'll find that this person doesn't even know what they want. The problem with people who don't know what they want is that you will never be enough for them. And that in itself is such a difficult reality to grasp. Everybody wants to be someone's idea of perfect. Everybody wants to be someone's the one. But my 23 trips around the sun has taught me that you will have multiple the ones. There will be so many people who enter your life and they will feel like a soulmate. It's okay to have more than one soulmate. I think it's cool and it's better to have more than one soulmate. But again, society, which is, very heterocentric, teaches us that no, you must have one person in your life who matters to you and everybody else must be loved a little bit less. But I don't think I believe in that. I think I believe in gathering as many experiences as I can. That's what I believe in, and that's what really, really works for me, because the more I allow myself to be vulnerable and close to people, the more I feel like I'm learning more about myself. But then how that works when we reverse it is that the more you learn about yourself, the more you can understand other people and why they are the way they are. You can understand why they think how they think. If you learn to understand how traumatic events work, you can actually be able to reason with the fact that that person is responding because they're in fight or flight mode. And sometimes love scares people away. So feeling like you're alone isn't necessarily a bad thing. For me, I'm really, really learning that my company is amazing. And when you feel like your company is amazing, when you reach that point where you're like, I really love being me, like I really love existing in this body, like, I like her. It means that when you meet a person who you gravitate towards and that person gravitates towards you, the reason why they want to be around you is because they like how you feel about yourself, so they feel more drawn to someone who likes their self and they feel like they want to like their self like you like yourself. That was quite a tongue twister, but I know you know what I mean. Liking yourself is really important. Sometimes I feel like it's more necessary to like yourself than to love yourself, because liking yourself is essentially being like, I know I'm a mess, but I want to be the best possible mess I can be. Because everybody essentially is going to be messy forever. Nobody's going to be perfect. But if you try to be a good mess, then we're getting somewhere, aren't we? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be the best mess. I'm trying to be like, my hair's a bit tangled, but I like this hairstyle. My shoes are a bit tight, but I like these shoes. One of the diamante bits on my dress has fallen off, but I like this dress. So it's about balancing between imperfection and acceptance and understanding that regardless of how I show up, I'm enough because I said so, and that is not up for debate. So let's talk about death. I'm really, really fascinated by death. I think death is the most exciting thing. And the reason why is because the reason why death is really fascinating, guys, come on, I'm getting there. The reason why death is really exciting and fascinating for me is because it means that if you know you're going to die, why would you not do the thing that you want to do? Why would you not feel like you deserve to be here? Why would you not feel like your experience is a reward? Why would you not feel like chasing that thing that's been calling you? And this isn't to say quit your job and run away. This is to say, I'm here, I've lived, there are millions of cells in my body right now that are working really, really hard to keep me here. And I must honor that. And I must make room for my existence and allow myself to learn and be wrong and shift and grow and just be a person and just be wrong as much as I can. Because I'm learning that it's better to be wrong now and right later than to think I'm right now and end up being wrong much later. But also, it's about understanding that regardless of how pretty people think you are, regardless of how nice people think your handbags are, or how great they think your branding is, ultimately, when you die, what's going to matter is your character. What's going to matter is how you made people feel, the perspective you had, the room you made for other people. Because I've never come across a tombstone that said, oh my gosh, her shoe game was, What I have seen on people's tombstones was they were loved by many, they were beautiful, they had a very kind spirit, and that's what I aspire to leave behind. So before I leave you, I have a challenge for you, each and every one of you. I challenge you to choose yourself. Even when it hurts, choose yourself. Even when you're tired, choose yourself. And even when you feel like giving up, choose yourself. Thank you.